South Africa had a high unemployment rate, an unemployment rate of 40% at that time. The good news is that now the unemployment rate is not 40%, it's about 19%.
19%.
So they are really working very hard to improve the quality of life in South Africa. I was living certainly in a time where the unemployment rate was high, and I had to keep my options open. So I applied for jobs in several places, not in South Africa, and I applied for jobs in several places of the world. And most of the jobs that I applied for came with a letter saying, unfortunately, we are unable to offer you a position that will be suitable for you. We wish you success for the future. But there was this one job in Taiwan that I got, and I was surprised. It seemed almost like destiny, and I thought about it. I thought about it for a long time. Should I go to Taiwan? After I passed the job interview, the job evaluation, well, not job evaluation, but an evaluation of whether you can really do the job. So after I passed all of that, I still had to think a lot, and I made the decision that look, it's a country I don't know about. I'm curious about Chinese culture. It's mysterious.
It's mysterious. What makes you say that?
I think because all my life I've just focused on Western education and mostly English, British history and British culture and South African culture. So for me, the East, especially the Far East, is a mystery, and I like mysteries because mysteries have something to discover, and as you are discovering them, you will meet culture shock.
Yeah.
You will encounter culture shock. So yes, I did encounter culture shock when it came to certain things. Right now I'm thinking of food. At the beginning, I saw people eating snakes.
Snakes, yeah.
This was in Kaohsiung.
Yeah.
I saw people eating snakes. I saw people eating frog soup, and I knew that was frog soup because I looked into the bowl.
Yeah.
And yes, it was exciting.
Did you try?
Well, this is the part I'm getting to. It was exciting. It was exciting to see. It was exciting to see other people eat it, because I would never. But it was exciting to see other people eat it. I thought they were so brave. I thought, wow, these guys are eating frogs. These guys are eating snakes. Things I would not do. But although I was quite curious, and I was quite excited looking at other people eating that, I certainly tried to avoid Taiwanese food at the beginning. Not just the frog soup, not just the snake. I think those are easy things to avoid. But there were several kinds of dishes I was avoiding, and I was living on Oreos. And I was living on Oreos. I was living on other kinds of cookies. I was living on potato chips. I was drinking milk and drinking juice and eating lots of chocolates to keep my energy high. And so I was avoiding Taiwanese food. But you know when I started eating Taiwanese food? Do you know when?
No.
One day I just felt hungry, very hungry. After eating a lot of cookies, Oreos, and after eating a lot of potato chips and just living on milk and chocolates and things like that. And you decided to give it a try? There came a time when I was hungry and I needed to eat something. And I said, I had it. I need to eat food. And there are only two choices. Either I'm going to cook by myself, which I don't have a lot of time to do, or I'm going to have to try Taiwanese food. And so I tried Taiwanese food, and now I'm so used to it that I love it. When I go home and I eat home food, I miss Taiwanese food.
So do you eat snakes and frogs now?
No, I've continued to stay away from those. um, um, like I said, I wouldn't classify that as culture shock because there are several other people. I wouldn't classify eating frogs and snakes as well, not eating frogs and snakes as culture shock. Not that much as culture shock. Maybe a little, but not that much, because there are several people in Taiwan who would also not eat frogs and snakes. I know some of my friends don't, and they're Taiwanese. But I would certainly say that avoiding Taiwanese food in general is where there is some culture shock. I would certainly say that, yes.
Okay.
Because different cultures have their own cooking styles.
Oh yes,
But
different eating habits.
But let me say this in Chinese. 中国的餐
中国的菜
yeah
赞
餐
Oh yeah,
yeah 很不错
yeah.
等一下你请我吃好不好？我在开玩笑。
Okay. As an English teacher in Taiwan, what are the courses you lecture in UNTech currently?
I focus mostly on the non-English major students, and I lecture most of the courses that I instruct. I don't like to use the word lecture because especially it being English, so I don't want to use the word lecture. So let me say that most of the courses that I instruct tend to be reading and vocabulary. I do have 1 or 2 courses in listening and speaking, and I have taught 1 course in the English department to the English major students, intermediate writing. But like I said, most of my courses are reading and vocabulary, and I focus on the non-English major students.
Yes. So what are the problems and difficulties that you think these non-English majors may have when they are acquiring or learning English?
Let me begin by asking you a question. You asked me a question. Could I ask you a question?
Oh yes,
And I promise you I'll answer your question.
yes.
Do you think Taiwanese students are shy?
When it
Because you're a
comes-
student. You're a student.
Yeah.
Do you think Taiwanese students are shy?
Well, when it comes to speaking, they are, yes,
Most of the students?
yes.
If you had to think of a percentage, how many? What percentage would you say?
70% of them.
Okay. Now, you've been my student.
Yes.
How many students would you say, as someone who has been my student and as someone who has interacted with me over the months, how many students would you say are shy of speaking to me?
None of them.
You see, this is the thing that this is the question I have in my head. Are Taiwanese students really shy? Because over the months that I have taught here and in other universities, I haven't been able to encounter that as a huge problem. I have seen shy students, but I've seen students being shy because they are fearful of relating to someone that they might not be familiar with. That they might, they are fearful that they might say the wrong thing and this person would judge them too much. I know in those situations, anybody would be nervous and shy, not just Taiwanese students. In my experience, over the months that I've worked here and over the years that I've worked in Taiwan, I've hardly encountered that as a problem. I think that Taiwanese students have changed a lot over the years, and the students from many years ago are different from the students now. I think these days, in the age that we are living in, the